Hey guys, just want to show you something interesting about this comet child. You know, every 30 years on the knocker, it's in Virgo, on the Feast of Trumpets, on a dark moon. You can see the moon there. So you see the moon progressively illuminating. If I come back, there it is there, completely dark. You can see a first slither by the look of it there. So let's now have a look. 30 years. Sorry, I'm trying to do this on my phone. 30 years, so we'll go back to now, today. Oops. So there we have child there again, as we know. And as we move towards the Feast of Trumpets, I just went back a couple of days there for reference. Here we have the moon again. There's the dark moon. And we know we should be able to see it around 16 or 17. You can see the first sliver there. That might not be visible in Israel. So for reference once again, let's go back another 30 years. There we have the child in Virgo, exactly the same spot, and once again, the dark moon. Now, Jesus started his ministry around the age of 30. Could that be a reminder to the Jews about Jesus? It comes around every 30 years like clockwork on a dark moon. I wonder how it relates at these dates every 30 years to some of the other comets, etc. we're watching. Now, one that I've been watching, not many people talk about, is this Shepherd Jewett one. What is that? Around about that 30-year period. Doesn't seem anywhere near Virgo. Let's have a look at Ishimura. 30 years later. That's over here in Canis Major. So I haven't done much of a check. I'm only sort of looking at this today, but it seems every 30 years that comet child appears in Virgo in the womb area on a dark moon on the Feast of Trumpets, regardless of when the Feast of Trumpets is starting. It seems to nail it every time. That's interesting. We've got a lot of convergence at the moment, as we know, with all the wars and reports of wars. We've got lots of movement in Russia, China. China are just doing a big war game, war exercise. They've sent out 20 ships, which is a massive amount. Increase in earthquakes, volcanoes, floods, signs in the heavens. It's just off the charts. We have this massive convergence between now, if we go by Repo Man, 14th, I think in Israel. It's 5:47 or something in Israel, depends on your location. For me here in Australia, Israel, I think, 7 hours behind me. So I think I'm looking at 1:57 or something a.m. in the morning coming up. It's now 21 minutes past 3 p.m. in Australia on the 14th. Anyway, so we've got a lot of convergence. We also have all that programming that we've seen in movies and stuff around the 23rd. I'll play a brief little TikTok clip in a minute before I leave. But I'd like to just encourage anybody to see if they can work out what this connection between this comet child being in Virgo every 30 years on a dark moon on Feast of Trumpets. It's very interesting. I mentioned it to Repo Man in a comment that I left on one of his videos, his recent one. Now, that'll be an interesting bet, actually, between him and Cool Cat. Now, Repo Man didn't seem to pick up on it last night, but he's in for a big heap of flat earth money that Cool Cat intends to collect now. It'll be interesting to see. I'm going with Repo Man at the moment, simply because the 14th's closer, 15th's closer sort of thing, but I don't know. We certainly are close. I can't see all the signs in Virgo, etc., anywhere on Stellarium lining up again ever like they do now. Certain comets that we've found, like the Child, we're now sort of tracing their history, and we're noticing that some of them have been reoccurring on very important regular dates. But I think the full revelation of what's painted in the skies is going to come to us after the rapture, when we're in the presence of Jesus. Now, we've got to remember, it's all by his works and his alone, not by ours, only by his. It is a total gift. Even our faith is a gift. So look up, remember all things through Jesus. I'll play a little clip before we go, and hope to see you all soon.
Are getting prepared for any type of disaster, because that's what's happening in the month of September. So we're getting you ready.
Go ahead. Tell yourself it's just a number.
The future can be scary.
9 hours and 23 minutes. You'll be mine.
The miracle of deliverance. By 9:23, the water of life shall proceed forth from the throne of the Lamb.
Your father?
The Prince of Darkness!
Let the new prince be decided on Saturday. First South Park, then the world.
Signing off 9/23.
September 23rd?
September 23rd.
This is Agent Dunham. I need immediate evac. 923 Church Street.
Captain's log, stardate 23.9, rounded off to the nearest decimal point. We've traveled back in time to save an ancient species from total annihilation.
She called us, Miss. Thursday morning, 9:23.
September 23rd.
Are getting.
So there you have that. Very interesting, eh? Now, I did a bit of a browse through Netflix the other night, and I picked some titles of series that, where the titles were catchy, like Shadowhunters was one of them. And, just about every time somebody used a credit card, or when a newspaper was put down, I'd pause these movies, and I found the same numbers every time. None of the movies that were mentioned in that little clip. It's really easy to find. One of them even had Latin, and it said shadow. And when they played back the quote, there was a sign basically, and one of these shadow hunter guys interpreted the sign, and it said something like "Shadow hunters descend easily into hell," or something like that. The sign was in Latin. Interestingly, I looked up the Latin, and it was correct. It did say that. Other than the very first word, which wasn't shadow hunters, it was actually Nephilim. So it said Nephilim in English, and then the rest I was just seeing if I could find my note. I wrote down the season and the episode. I think it was season 1, episode 1 or 2. Anyway, it's actually said in English, Nephilim, and then the rest of the sign was in Latin, and it said, descend easily into hell. There's a lot of pre-programming going on in movies at the moment. Now, the last 4 days, the incidence of chemtrails down here in Tasmania has been bizarre. They are spraying day and night continually to the point where I can actually smell it and see it as a smoke, like a fog. It is really bizarre. They have amped up the chemtrails 1,000%. To me, that suggests they're trying to hide something. So all I can say is continue to look up, put your absolute 100% faith in Jesus and his works, the gift that he gave you, both of faith and salvation, and do not think for a second that it's by anything that we've done. Anyway, guys, take care. Hope to see you all soon. God bless.